The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Representative McClintock, you visited our southern border and you've seen firsthand the systematic way that the cartels have managed the trafficking of illegal aliens across our border. Is there a feeling among those crossing our borders illegally that there is little standing in their way to prevent any of them from breaking our laws?
Well, of course not. All they need to do is flag down a Border Patrol officer, and they are guaranteed admittance into the country, free snacks, free food, free medical care, a ticket anywhere in the country that they want to go. Within 6 months, they're guaranteed a work permit, and they know that when their phony asylum claim is heard many, many years in the future, if they happen to show up for it and it's rejected, and they're ordered deported, that deportation order will not be enforced under this administration. You know, I was listening to Ms. Leisure-Fernandez ask, well, we should be putting more and more money as the president requests into it. You know, we were down at the Yuma border last year and met with a large group of Border Patrol officers. You know what they told us? For God's sake, don't send more money to this administration because they will simply use it to process people into the country even faster. That's a deliberate policy of this administration, and that's a question, as I said earlier, that can only be answered by the American people. Now, the Democrats keep criticizing this is the least productive session. We just talk and talk and talk about this crisis. We waste time talking about this crisis. We pass bills out of the House, well-structured, well-considered bills that will strengthen the hand of a president who wishes to enforce the laws, obviously not this one, but then fall short in the Senate. So why do we even try? Now, I want you to contrast that to the last 2 years that the Democrats controlled this House, and this mass migration, this mass illegal migration was unleashed by their policies. I was ranking member of the Immigration Subcommittee then. Not a single hearing on the crisis, not a single hearing on the tragedy of the border. We had lots of hearings on how to admit more people into the country. Not a single hearing, not a word from the Democrats to defend our country's borders as they unleashed this onslaught against the people of our nation. And ultimately, the people of our nation are going to have to respond.
Yeah. Representative McClintock, is there any concern among those that are crossing illegally that their asylum case might be thrown out or they'll be deported back to their country of origin?
Well, again, they know that the odds are very much in favor that they will be able to stay here indefinitely, just as a practical matter. Many of them don't show up for their court dates. In fact, many of them are only given a notice to report rather than a notice to appear, meaning they're released on their own recognizance. They can then, by the way, use these documents, which amount to arrest warrants, for proof of identity on any plane in this country. This is ludicrous, and the American people are starting to awaken to the dangers that it poses. But they know this, and the statistics back them up. And all they await is another amnesty, like the one that is rumored to be considered in the Senate right now, so that will become permanent. Why are they coming? Because they know they'll be admitted and they know they can stay, and that's got to change.
Thank you, Representative McClintock. And finally, our friends across the aisle have spoken at length about how the fraud committed by illegal immigrants using stolen or, quote, shared Social Security numbers has actually had a benefit of funding critical safety net programs like Social Security and Medicare. To quote Representative Pramila Jayapal in 2018, such illicit activity actually, quote, keeps the Social Security system afloat. Is Social Security truly being kept afloat by the theft of Social Security numbers and other personal information by illegal aliens?
Well, no, and more to the point, we just received testimony in the Immigration Subcommittee the week before last that calculates that the average net cost, this is taxes paid minus services demanded, net cost is about $69,000 per immigrant. Now multiply that times the 5 million that have been allowed into this country under this administration's policies. It was just estimated that New York City schools will be paying $1 billion a year just to educate the illegal immigrants who have been brought as minors into this country this past year. Now, that's the same as a $1 billion cut to the New York City schools. Now, you multiply that by every school in the country, every homeless shelter, every public hospital, and you begin to see the enormous damage that this is doing to our country. And they not only don't care, they're actively promoting it. You know, I have said to folks who've wondered aloud, how could this be happening to our country? Well, the answer is pretty simple. If you voted for the Democrats, this is exactly what you voted for. And if you're surprised by that, you weren't paying any attention, because this is exactly what they promised to do. This is exactly what they have done. And this is exactly what they have defended every single day in this Congress for the last 3 years. And Exhibit A is my good friend from New York.
Well, thank you, and I would like to echo those words to say that I find it insulting to our seniors, and any member of Congress would excuse away blatant crimes against American citizens as somehow helpful to the fiscal future of these programs. I greatly appreciate the work that the House Judiciary Committee has done to bring forward what I believe are targeted fixes to strengthen penalties and deter illegal immigration and those trafficking people across our borders. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields back.